I scared you. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of me redrawing my art. I don't know how many of these I'm gonna do. Probably 3 would be the max. But yeah, this is part 2. In case if you don't know, I made a little video where I redrew 4 of my 4 characters that I drew when I was like what? It was in 2015. It's 2022, so that's like 7 years ago. So yeah, very long time ago. And I decided that I wanted to do a new one, but this time it's going to be it's a spooky edition because it's October and I have no other Halloween ideas. Like legit, I was just working on a completely different video, and I kind of just realized, oh wait, I don't have anything for October. But yeah, I decided to take 4 more characters that I drew and redraw them. This time though, I wanted to draw original characters, as last time I literally just drew characters that already existed. So this time I wanted to redraw some of my original works, which I do have quite a few of them. And yeah, and I think these are these are like leagues better than the other drawings that I made in the previous episode. These are so good, and I'm so proud of them, and I hope you enjoyed them too. This one's gonna be a little longer because I have a little more to say about some of these drawings. But yeah, that's about it for this intro. So let's just get right into the drawings now. Alright, so for the first character I'm drawing, it is a Five Nights at Freddy's character. I have 2 FNAF characters in this episode, so stay tuned for that. But for this one, this is a skin for Foxy, which I simply just called Water Foxy because I didn't have any better name to come up with. And to be honest, I don't really care to come up with a new name. But yeah, so this is a character that I created back in, I want to say it was like 2020. Yeah, I think it was like 2020 when I created this character, and it was actually for like a game. I say in quotes. Basically, we played like this Five Nights at Freddy's version of tag, where the person who's it gets to play as an animatronic, and they have like certain abilities and stuff. Water Foxy's gimmick was that he could rise the tide, and it would slow down all the characters. Don't ask me why an animatronic would have the power to control water. I just thought it was really cool. But yeah, as you can see, he's very much inspired. He looks very similar to that of like the Piranha Plus Trap. I don't know if I was inspired by. I don't remember when Piranha Plus Trap came out. I created Water Foxy in like summer of 2020. So I'll have to double check. But yeah, he's very similar. He's got like this kind of aqua blue color to him. He's got seaweed and barnacles and stuff. He's just kind of like the idea is that he lives underwater, and so he's got like, you know, he's got like these like fins and stuff. That was really my favorite part, was drawing the fins. I think it really does kind of make the character pop with having those fins. In the original, the fins kind of like, the way I drew in the redraw, I kind of had them just kind of be showing there. They're relatively small compared to the arms. But you know what? I don't think it looks... I don't think it's that... because in the original, it covered the whole arm, so it was kind of more like part of the arm, but... You know what? I'm fine with it. You might also notice with, unlike with my other drawings, I did not draw a full, body for Water Foxy. It's just a little screenshot. I don't know why, but that did give me kind of a way to kind of get a little creative, you know, so yeah. I didn't really change a whole lot with this design. I stayed pretty faithful to the original design. You know, I gave it the barnacles and all the. I even put like a little starfish on his endo leg. There's seaweed. I think really the only thing that's different is the hook. I wanted to make it kind of be out of like a blue metal, so I kind of yeah, so I didn't want it to be like the normal hook. So first I had like this urchin be on his hook, as you can see. It's like a purple urchin. And then I had the hook be kind of like this blue, kind of like a blue metal color. I think it looks really good. And it has like this really, like this big, it's like a big hook with like this little double point at the end. I think it looks really cool. But yeah, that's really about it. Not much else. Again, I didn't really draw a full body for this character, and there really isn't a whole lot about him other than like his appearance and abilities. But yeah, for this one I wanted to give more effort to try and shade it and make it look good. I'm not an expert whenever it comes to shading at all. I could definitely do better because I don't quite understand how light sources work quite yet. However, I think it does look a lot better, especially given the fact that with my other redraw, I did barely, if not any, shading on the characters. And so this one automatically just looks so much better. It's also, the pose is much more dynamic. With the other characters, I kind of just had them standing there for the most part. Like, they'd be doing something, but for the most part, besides like Bumblebee, they were really kind of just standing there. But here, he's like, it just looks a lot better. But yeah, that's it for Water Foxy. Time to move on to the next character. Okay, so for the next drawing that I had, I decided to draw a bat character. I don't really know, it's not exactly an original character, because the bat character that I drew is supposed to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villain called Wingnut, which is funny because I actually had no idea what Wingnut looked like when I drew him. I actually just got my inspiration from Man-Bat from Batman, so it's not even the character I was trying to draw. But I decided that since I was trying to draw Wingnut, I decided I would just combine both ideas into one. So Man-Bat, I don't really know much about Man-Bat other than the fact that he's supposed to be basically like a knockoff Batman. He's like a superhero. I believe he's a comic book character brought to life. He's basically like this half bat, half human superhero. He's got these huge metal wings that he uses to glide around and stuff. I believe he's got I believe his weapons are wingnuts. I believe a wingnut is like an actual weapon. I might have to look that up or something. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, and then Man-Bat, who I also don't really remember too much about, is this guy who wanted to turn himself into a bat for some reason to fight Batman. And so I decided that since Wingnut is basically already half man, half bat, I wanted to kind of put more emphasis on the mutant bat aspect. So I kind of turned his hands to like actual bat wings and stretched out his fingers to kind of fill in the frames for the wings. And I think it actually is it looks really cool. I gave him like an actual like bat face and stuff. You can't see it right now, but I am currently drawing the wings. But yeah, this was this was a really difficult one to draw. I originally actually started off with drawing a hand, a bat. It was supposed to be like a perspective drawing where like he was reaching out to grab you. But the problem was that I drew it as a human hand, and I wanted the fingers to stretch out to form a bat wing, but I didn't know how I was going to do that, so I just gave up, and I decided to just kind of draw a standard portrait character thing, what you're seeing right now. And even then I had trouble with drawing it. I think the first problem I ran into was drawing the torso. I drew the head and torso off camera because it was really hard. I'm not very good at drawing torsos and stuff, and really any round objects that aren't like cylinder shaped are really difficult to draw. But after using a reference, I was able to draw the chest and stuff, and it looked pretty good. Then the second problem was drawing the snout. If you might notice in the recording, I actually cut. So I drew like one snout, and then I cut the recording. I turned off the recording, and then when you see it, whenever you see the next, when you see it cut back, it's a completely different snout, and that's because it was just so tricky to draw that I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna stop recording for a bit and just try and get this down so that it actually looks good, because I was having a lot of struggles. It was very difficult. Like I said in my last redraw episode, drawing anything with a large snout at an angle is really difficult. So yeah, and even then I didn't quite get the snout that I was looking for, but it's definitely a lot better than what I was drawing earlier, so there's at least that. I do like how the bat wings turned out. I think those are really good. I like it. I think it's cool. And yeah, another thing I did was I drew tears around in the suit. Because after a transformation like that, I decided to draw some tears and stuff, and I thought, I think it looks really good. I had drawn tears before, but it kind of just looked like little patches missing, but here I actually drew like the cloth peeling over and stuff, and I think it looks really good. Especially on the chest area. That was definitely very challenging to do, but I think it turned out pretty well. And yeah, I also drew his metal wings, because I feel like without them, the character itself looked rather plain. I was considering not drawing them because he already had bat wings, and I felt like realistically having metal wings would make it more difficult for him to fly with his bat wings, but I decided, you know what, the metal wings look cool, so I drew them anyways. I also had to cut the recordings and redraw the wings, because I also wasn't really proud with how those looked, and they looked way better after I redrew them, so I'm definitely happy that I did that. I also added his mask. He has a mask. I was also considering whether I should add that too, because the way I saw it was that Wingnut is a mascot costume, where the bat face is just a mascot head. So whenever his actual face grows out, it's like, the whole mask comes off. But then I kind of thought that didn't really make a whole lot of sense, and he looks way better with a mask on, so I drew it on. I don't really have much else to say. I think the symbol, I did draw an insignia, if that's how you say it, on his chest. I believe it's supposed to be a W in the original design, but I drew it to kind of look like a bat. So it does come off as looking sort of like a Batman ripoff logo, but it's supposed to be like a W in the shape of a bat. So I drew that on the chest and on the belt. It's kind of hard to see because it's kind of cut off because of the tears and stuff. So it's kind of hard to see the symbol. But I did mean to draw it like that. But yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to say. That's Wingnut. Probably my favorite one so far out of the two that I've drawn, that being the other one being Water Fox, as you saw earlier. So yeah, I think this one was very, very cool. I almost didn't draw this one because I was originally going to draw a completely different character. It was going to be like the snake guy. But I just didn't feel like drawing a character like that, and so I was like talking to my older sister about I was showing her some of my older drawings, and Wingnut popped up and like, oh, that's a bats. Bats are spooky, and I was like, yeah, you're right. So I'm very glad that I drew this one, because as tough as it was, it definitely turned out to look really good, and I'm really proud of it. But yeah, that's Wingnut, so on with the next drawing. Alright, so for this one I decided to go for a little more simplistic design, and that is drawing Circus Baby as a witch. well, it's sort of Circus Baby. It's Circus Baby from the fourth closet. Um, the original drawing was of original Circus Baby, but I don't know. It just, I feel like she would look, in my head, she looked a lot better when she was like, I don't know, had more of a feminine body. I don't know. I just cannot see in-game Baby looking cool as a witch, and that was kind of the idea. I was trying to make her look cool. So, yeah, but I took heavy inspiration from the fourth closet Circus Baby when drawing this. Specifically, you know, from the graphic novel, because that's the only good-looking version of the Circus Baby. the other poster one just looks really weird. But anyways, once again with Wingnut, there was some things that I wanted to draw off camera before I started the time lapse. Mainly the hand, the hand, which, you know, hands are hard to draw, so I didn't want to just be struggling for like 5 minutes drawing a stupid hand. I also drew like the chest, because that was also a bit difficult, as well as the shoulders, which I think turned out really well. And so then I kind of drew the rest from there. Like I said, this is a very simplistic design. It's really, for the design for Circus Baby's dress, I actually got inspiration from I think they're called the Ciandra sisters. It's the three witches from Hocus Pocus, and I mainly got inspiration from like the blonde girl's dress from the second movie. I have not watched it yet, but I plan on doing so this Halloween season, while there's still a Halloween season left. At this point of me recording, like, it's already like, I believe it's like October the 22nd or something. So the spooky month's almost over. So yeah, yeah, another thing that I had a little bit of trouble on, which you'll see in the time lapse, is trying to draw the expression on Circus Baby's face. I just wanted her to look incredibly unhinged and psychotic looking, so I gave her a big ol' laugh. I wanted her to make it look like she was laughing and stuff, and have like huge mouth open and like very small pupils. As you'll see, I keep trying to draw them smaller and smaller. I think it turned out pretty well. Yeah, I feel like with the round head, it kind of didn't make it look as good, but overall it's okay. But yeah, anyways, back to the dress. It's rather simple. I just kind of drew a dress where it's kind of like, I don't know the terms, but it kind of goes basically down to her knees, and it's purple with like a little lighter purple thing. It's kind of hard to describe, but you'll see it once it's fully complete. And then she also has like, of course, like she has like a witch hat and a broom, because, you know, that's typical witch stuff. But I also gave her like striped stockings on her legs that kind of go up to like those super long stockings that kind of go all the way up to like your thighs and stuff. And I had them be orange and black. One of the biggest problems that I had with the original were the color choices. Seriously, green is not a good look compared with black and purple. That was just such a terrible choice. It looks so ugly. The green hair, it looks horrible. So I changed up the color palettes, and I made it orange, black, and purple. And I think it just looks so much better. As you can see, I'm about to get into the coloring now. But like, her hair just looks so much better when it's orange. And then I gave her a purple dress, and I even changed like the colors of her makeup and stuff. I made her cheeks and nose black, as well as her eyebrows. But then I made her lips purple, just to kind of go with the color palette. And it just looks so much better than the original. The original, I had her like have a black dress and green hair and purple makeup. It just did not look good at all. So I'm very proud that I'm really happy that I was able to, you know, make this look a lot better. I don't really have anything else to say. This one was probably the simplest out of all of them to draw. Unlike the other ones, I had a very clear vision with this one when drawing, so it was relatively easy to draw. So yeah, that was Circus Baby, I guess. Again, if you guys want to come up with names for these drawings, let me know down in the comment section below. But that's it for this one. On to the final character. And for our final redrawing, I decided to save perhaps what might be the ugliest thing I had to redraw for last, and that is this monstrosity. Yeah, so this is Razar, except it's not Razar. Just like with Wingnut, I called this thing and a character from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that does exist, even though that's not the actual character. So for those of you who don't know, Razar, he actually has a couple of variations, but the most prominent one would be his appearance in 2012, where he's a foot ninja that gets mutated into this weird dog thing, like this big dog brute, and they call him Dog Pound. But then in season 2 he gets mutated again, and he turns into this like very slender, skeletal, this very like hairy black wolf mutant, and he's renamed Razar. And I wanted to create a character that was similar to that, and I ended up creating this thing. And it does not look very good. So basically what this character is basically, it's Razar. It's like the idea of Razar being like this slender, stealthy, like, mutant that has like bones and stuff. Is very bony with bones and stuff sticking out. Except instead of being a wolf, this character is a dinosaur, specifically a T-Rex. And I did not know how to. It was clearly obvious that I did not know what to do with this character, so I kind of just did whatever, and it looks really bad. There's all sorts of really confusing stuff. A lot of the bones look like they were just put on as like part of like a costume or something. They don't actually look like bones. They're literally just bones that are on his strapped to his arm, which doesn't make any sense. The face obviously looks terrible because this was back in the day where I didn't really know how to foreshorten and, like, I wasn't very good at perspective that much, so the snout just looks really bad. The eyes are like, what I try to do with the eyes is I try to make them like all kind of wrinkled, but they just look really scary. I guess that was the point, but it just looks really bad. So for this one, I kind of just I basically just ditched the design and just kind of started all over from scratch while keeping the same idea. So it's still like a T-Rex sort of bony creature, except he's more on the lines of like he's not really like a ninja or anything. He's not really built like that. He's built much more like I don't know, I guess a hunter, because one of the things that I ended up doing, as you can see here, is I had him like lick like a knife, which I came with. First of all, don't ask me why I chose to do that. I just did. But second of all, it just looks really silly because I don't know if you could hear that. Because the reason why I did that, because I just thought it would look cool. But it just does not look very good because, for one, the tongue is in the wrong position, and also, two, the knife is incredibly small. Like, you can see it. He literally is like holding it with 2 fingers. This thing's the size of an eraser. And he's also got giant, sharp, bony claws. So I don't know why I did that. I just did it because I thought it'd be cool. But then by the time I finally drew it in, I realized that I was like, well, I've gone too far now. So yeah. One thing I added in this drawing that was different from the other one was that I actually gave it hair. Again, it was just kind of a thing that just felt like fit with the drawing that I was making. I also just kind of gave it more bony features. I gave it like these shoulder spikes. I kept the wrists, actually. The wrists are still the same from the original design. And the head, I actually got inspiration from an actual. I actually got inspiration from an actual T-Rex skull, and I think it looks really good. It's been a while since I've drawn dinosaurs, so the fact that I'm still able to draw a T-Rex skull and have it look pretty good is very nice. I had these kind of for the colors. I kept them as the same. It was kind of like gray, black, and yellow. Except the yellow is not as prominent. It's kind of like what I kind of did was I kind of had like this reptilian pattern. I'll show the reptile up screen, but I was inspired by that species of lizard, and I kind of drew like these little patterns on it, where it's black spots outlined with yellow, and then the rest of the body is primarily gray. So that's that. I don't really have too much else to say about this character. So I guess that's really it for this drawing and all the redraws. So now it's time to close off the video. And that's it for this episode of me redrawing my art. I am very happy with how these turned out. Honestly, I like them all equally. They're all so good. I'm really proud with just how far I've gotten, especially since a lot of these drawings that I made are much more recent. They're from 2019 as opposed to 2015. So just the fact that I've changed so much over the span of 3 years. Like 2019, that's when I started my channel. It's been 3 years. Good grief. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I have. Let me know down in the comment section below which one was your favorite. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to like I just said, comment, maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But this is a random video that I hope you enjoyed. Peace out. Hey, could someone tell me where I am?